I've actually had one other girl that I went out with because I do have a felony, right? I had to plead guilty to a federal white collar criminal offense. And I had one girl that actually brought it out on the second date. Hey, I Googled your phone number because I gave her my real number. I had a burner number.
Yep.
She said, I'm a girl. Of course, I Googled. And I explained to her what happened, and she could see enough probably to realize I wasn't a murderer or anything.
I'm still not sure.
She's 99%.
Oh, God.
But
We'll find out. Stay tuned.
But yeah, the smart girls have gone ahead and Googled, and the ones that haven't,
Good luck to you.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the #1 sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good, the bad, and it's Kimmy's birthday part 2.
Woo! My birthday's tomorrow.
Part 2.
We'll be in Mexico.
Yeah.
We're getting fucked up
So-
and fucked.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah. So
I don't think we'll be doing either of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't get enough of the part 1 episode, so we brought her in for part 2. Actually, this is going to be. Once I found out who my guests were today, I got pretty excited about this episode. It's going to be a little nuts, so hold on. We also have Vivian in the house. Welcome back, Vivian.
Hi, guys.
And you look lovely. You always wear blue. It accentuates your eyes.
Thank you.
So just to describe what Vivian looks like, now you guys already know I'm looking at some busty girls here, but the blue is fantastic on her because she's blonde-haired, blue eyes, where Kimmy is, she's a dark girl.
She's a Persian.
She's a brown girl. She's a Persian. And
She's wearing barely a shirt.
Yeah, and she said she forgot her shirt.
Yeah, I walked in and I was like, I forgot my shirt today. Sorry.
So it's not a shirt.
As she's chowing, what are you eating there?
Chop, chop.
We are multitasking here, podcasting, eating. So Vivian was telling us about her short time on Seeking. And we all, just to give a recap on how she got on there, she was an Airbnb guest of mine, met Kimmy. We were talking about sugar dating. She got on Seeking. And bam, she met somebody
right away.
And she drug him in here today.
I did.
Welcome, Ryan.
Ryan.
Thank you.
Are you ready for this, Ryan?
I don't know if I know what I'm getting myself into, but ready or not, here it comes.
You know what? You got a great podcasting voice, though. I can hear that.
I love it. I do love it.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. You might become a regular. Who knows? All right. So, Vivian, you were supposed to go on a date with somebody else. That got canceled.
He got too messed up at a baseball or a basketball game, got drunk and high and whatever, and he couldn't get an IV the next day for our date. So he canceled. So my next date was with this fine gentleman.
Also,
Ryan.
just a whole bunch of red flags there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah, so I never reached out to, he tried reaching out to me. I just ignored him.
All right. So, Ryan, I have questions. All right. How long have you been on Seeking?
I think I got on end of September. So
you were new too.
Yeah, fairly new.
What prompted you to get on a sugar daddy site?
It's a great question. I sort of an unusual situation that I was in then and even still continue to be in.
Do tell.
Well, I was federally prosecuted for an oversight that happened at one of my companies. And so I was working through some government issues, and so I was not too interested at that point in the traditional dating site. I didn't want people out Googling my name, that sort of thing. And so I was just kind of trying to get back out in the dating site while I was actually spent some time in at a federal prison.
So you were locked up.
I was locked up.
How many months?
I had a 10-month sentence. I was locked up for about 3 months, and then I spent 6 months at a halfway house facility. And so I actually, believe it or not, met Vivian while I was still I was just finishing up my halfway house time. And so, yeah, it's kind of an unusual, but what the reason I was married for an extended period of time.
I love that you
over
said
a decade.
That's hot. I'm done.
He's like the nicest bad boy you'll ever meet.
He's not even a bad boy, though.
No, I know. It's like an admin mistake.
Yeah, so my whole story, I was married for a decade. My wife and I were both going to be prosecuted. I pled guilty. The feds came in and they said, hey, if you'll plead guilty, we won't seize any of your assets. We won't prosecute your wife. And so I pled guilty and went ahead and took my lashes. While I was at the federal prison facility, my wife had an affair. And so that kind of prompted the end of my marriage. But I could not file for divorce because I have kids and I didn't want to mess up with the custody until just this last couple of weeks. So of course, feeling kind of lonely, wanted to get out there, and so seeking was kind of the proper venue for that to happen.
Okay, so you, I understand, come from a very religious background. Were you born into that?
Yeah, I was born into that religious background. I wouldn't say that I am extremely religious, but I do have family that are fairly religious.
How long were you married? Or are you still married?
I'm still technically married. We're kind of working through that divorce process.
Okay.
So
12 years.
So
12 years.
The interesting thing, and we did bring this up on the last episode, was your soon-to-be ex-wife actually gave permission to Vivian.
That was actually something that really attracted me to Vivian. I had gone on a number of dates in the time that I was on Seeking.
Which also are really great. So at some point, we do need to discuss the dates he went on prior and around dating me.
Oh, we'll get to that. Yeah.
They're pretty wild based on my religious background. I was like, what is going on here? Yeah. So, but she specifically requested, that she wanted to know that I wasn't having an affair. So she asked for permission or for some sort of proof that I wasn't cheating. My ex-wife was happy to send her a video and let her know that she was all too happy for me to be moving on because she had moved on. It worked out.
How long were you married?
12 years.
Okay, 12 years, and you have kids.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you already moved out?
Right now we're switching back and forth on the house. So the kids stay in one place, and we're alternating.
Okay. So you decided to get back into the dating life?
Yes.
Now, was it the affair that led to the divorce, or were you guys already kind of rocky?
The affair was
really, and you just you didn't want to work through it.
She didn't want to work through it.
Oh, she didn't.
Yeah, and well, I mean, I was kind of still trying to figure out what I wanted, and she said, "Well, I'm happy doing." She just wanted to live a completely different lifestyle, kind of a party girl lifestyle.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she also grew up very religious.
She did. Yeah.
Same religion, I assume. All right. So Vivian, what did you think of all this when you?
Well,
because you know Vivian's background, where she was kind of in almost a cult-like
right
situation.
He's well aware. Like I said in the last show, we literally share everything with each other. So that's why he's here.
Right.
He knows about this.
So tell us about some of the rude awakening dates that you went on in the beginning, because I went through this process. I still go through the process. It's very interesting, isn't it?
Well, what made you go on Seeking too? First off, was it just because of unique scenario situation?
I think
how'd you hear
curious.
about it?
I had a brother who had an affair years ago. And he had used Seeking to help. Actually, I don't know that he ever went through with it, but he got on Seeking, was kind of, he's also another entrepreneur, successful type. And he was able to find, I was surprised when I found out how quickly he was able to find somebody that was both attractive and eager to be. And so I kind of I would really love a distraction with everything going on in my life. And so I initially really never thought I'd find somebody that I was interested in the way that I am interested in Vivian, anything more than just a casual kind of relationship. But it's sometimes love surprises you.
So tell me about some of the first dates.
Oh, sorry. First dates. Yeah. So,
oh God.
Because these
good.
get good.
Yeah.
I've shared many of mine.
One girl in particular messaged me. I was at work one day, sends me a message. I'd been messaging back and forth. Said, "Can you meet me at 11 o'clock for sushi at this place?" And okay, it's 15 minutes down this road.
11 o'clock at night?
11 in the morning.
Oh, in the morning for lunch. Oh, okay.
And so I said, sure. And so I hopped in my car, went down, met her. Immediately thought it was kind of strange, but she was wearing this jacket, and she sits down and she's kind of trying to feel out, who I am. And as we begin to talk, she says, "I can tell you're a really nice guy." And she unzips her jacket, and she's just wearing this absolutely tiny little. I mean, it's 11 o'clock in the afternoon at a sushi spot.
Smaller than my shirt.
Right, yeah,
yes,
smaller.
Like
she might as well be wearing pasties.
Yes,
And
very
dear
busty.
God.
If it's smaller than Kimmy's shirt now, then
Kimmy's shirt
it's
is not a shirt.
I don't.
My boobs are falling out the bottom.
And the top.
Before we started, Kimmy says my boobs may fall out, and I made sure to tell her we are not going to inform her of that.
No one. Everyone here is very fond of boobs.
We do love our titties.
We love our titties.
Speaking of, This Saturday, we need to make it to the titty bar for my birthday.
We're gonna.
Yeah.
It has been 2 days without the titty bar. Have you been going?
No, we have not gone. We won't go without you.
Aw, that's so sweet.
I don't. Maybe you guys come away from there fulfilled. I feel like I just got ripped off every time I go to one of those places.
I feel very fulfilled.
I feel great.
Here's my thing with the
I
titty bar.
overpaid for drinks. I overpaid for a lap dance. I overpaid for a girl who's now paying attention to somebody else.
No. See, this is how you got to look at it. The Kimmy way. The Kimmy way is I go in there and I get all riled up. And then I go home and go to bed. And honestly, it's pretty good because most of the time I can't get riled up. So it's like a lady boner for me, you know?
Yeah.
It is. I get in there and I get riled up and then I go have sex with Ryan.
She takes it out on me. So I'm willing to support this endeavor
he
at this
supports
point.
our habit.
All right. Well, speaking of titties,
Okay, go back to
let's
your
go
titty
back
story.
to Ryan.
Yeah. So she unzips the jacket, barely wearing anything. She starts asking about my background. I start telling her about the affair and and why I was back out on the dating market. She tells me how awful that is, and she starts hammering back the drink after drink, whiskey and Red Bull. She gets.
Classy.
I mean, this is 11 o'clock in the morning.
I was gonna say if it was Tito's and soda, I think I might know who this is.
Oh, God. It might be the same chick. Who knows?
She just changed.
She gets 2 or 3 shots in, and she then starts telling me about. She starts alternating about how she has this ex, but then it becomes her husband. The phone starts ringing as we get through the date.
Her phone.
Yeah. And it just says hubby, hearts. And so I all of a sudden start to realize that she's cheating on her husband on this date. Gets to a 4th drink, and I'm like, there's just no. I mean, she's tiny. She's this, 5'2" Vivian size.
Was she attractive?
Very attractive, young, blonde. She was probably 23, 24.
Now, I didn't get your age.
I'm 35.
Okay. Just to get a perspective.
Yeah,
there.
35. So she was, a decade or so younger than I am. And she gets down to the end and she said, and I'm like, well, it's nice to meet you. Just kind of a meet and greet lunch date, kind of, And she goes, well, no. She's like, I'm way too drunk to drive. Can you come with me? I need to pick up my kid from daycare.
Oh my gosh! On your first meet and greet,
and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I've got to get back to work. No, I need you to drive my car, and then we can come back to my house. And you got some money? Like, I want to have sex with you. And I'm just like, holy shit! I mean, where is this?
Now,
what is going on?
Was this a shock to you? Because that's actually kind of common.
You know what? It was for me just because I had not been in this world, right? So this is. And I will say,
he didn't know what to expect, and if the girls don't talk about it in advance, that what they're looking for, what it is.
Many don't, yeah,
many don't, but you don't know till you meet with them.
Okay,
that's not why I'm on there. Obviously,
I never did that, but is that the way to do it?
Right?
Because I want some goddamn money.
So what happened?
So you know what? I left her maybe it makes me a bad person, but I really did have my own stuff. I had appointment stuff. And so I said, please, do not drive. Like,
get an Uber,
go pick up your kid, go do what you need to do. I did give her $40. I said, here, get yourself an Uber, your taxi, whatever to get out of here. But I'm sorry, I can't help you anymore. She deleted her Seeking profile later that day.
Really?
And then strangely, like a month ago, she came back online and messaged me and was like, do you want to go out again? I'm like, yeah, because the last date was just such a flaming success.
I'm really curious what her profile name is.
What about about the
Marcus is like, yeah, do you have her number by any chance? I just want to know how to avoid her. I just want to know who to avoid. Okay?
Not that I'm going to text her or message her.
Yeah, no.
That sounds terrible. Sex on the first date.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
And then I also had another girl that this was my second date that I went on. Sat down at a bar. She just turned to me very point blank and said, how about a Hummer on the way home? And I was like, spit my drink all over I mean, I came from a more conservative culture. Even with Vivian.
Like that.
Yeah, even with Vivian, I don't think I had sex with her until 5th date. I mean, I was more, I really wanted to build something that was a little bit more real and more of an emotional connection. But maybe I'm unusual that way.
So she offered a blowjob.
Yep.
On the very first?
Yeah, she said,
So I didn't know a Hummer was a thing.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to start humming.
Why do you think I own one?
Oh,
shit. We've gotten a few Hummers in the Hummer.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, I had this girl I met a few years ago. She had just turned 40, but one of these looked amazing. And she'd been working on her body, and she lost a lot of weight. She looked amazing. and she was a squirter actually.
Oh yeah, she's
So-
the
two of us.
About.
Yeah, so she kind of warned me up front that, hey, I get wet very easily, and I didn't really know what wet meant based on what I end up seeing. So
There's a difference.
yeah, so it was our first meet and greet. We'd been drinking a little bit at this wine bar. I do rehabs and fix and flips and things like that. So in real estate. So, and she's also a real estate agent. And so she wanted to see it. So I said, sure, you can ride with me. I'm not kidding you. I didn't even get out of the parking garage and her face is in my lap in my Hummer. So I'm like, oh,
So this Hummer comes with a pussy magnet.
Yeah.
Does this car come with pussy magnet?
Anyway, I'm just freaked out, but I'm not stopping her. And we get to the house where I'm going to show it, and she gets up and she is sopping wet. It looked like she'd peed in her pants.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was a interesting
That's an experience.
meet and greet that I had.
It's funny you say that because today I was getting my hair done and my hairstylist was like, yeah, so there's this girl in here and like, you know how some people have Tourette's? Well, she has Tourette's, but like with orgasms. So like she will have random orgasms just like all the time. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. This isn't real. He's like, no, it's real.
Can we get
like
her on
she
the
was
show?
sitting in the chair and she's like, oh God, fuck yeah. Like, she's like,
Who's this?
you want to know how?
We need to
She's like
invite her on the
coming
show.
in the chair
Who?
while she's getting her hair done.
Her hairdresser. She was getting her hair done before he.
I was getting my hair done this morning.
and her hairdresser told her about one of the other girls he
one of
does her hair for.
Yeah.
One of the clients.
One of his clients. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, damn, can I get that? But you know what?
Wow.
One time I woke up to an orgasm and no one was touching me. I was
Like a
like,
wet
oh, God.
dream?
I was like,
Yeah.
oh God,
You
did
like
Satan
turned
just
on.
try to have sex with me? Satan knows what the fuck he's doing, man.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is the best sexes I've ever had have been with the worst, scummiest men in the whole planet.
Really?
And I really think that has something to do with devil worship. Like, there's Satan. Satan is taking over, but Satan knows how to fuck. And
Oh, man. See, Ryan, I tell you,
It's going to be a great audio
I
clip.
knew this was going to be a good one. You never know where Kimmy's going.
Yeah.
So that was your second date?
It was the second date. No. It was first date, second date on Seeking, first time with this girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Your second encounter with a person.
Yeah.
Or new encounter. Wow.
He's
Yeah.
had a few
I've
good
had-
ones that we've talked about. That what about the one that took the money that you didn't think was real? Or car?
Oh yeah, I did get scammed before I even got on a first date. With,
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
You haven't dated unless you've been scammed. Off Seeking. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I think she asked for $100 or something, and I was like, "Oh, sure, whatever." And of course, realized afterwards that this was
Yeah.
probably a guy.
So how did
Nigeria?
this? Yeah, how'd the scam work?
The first one was just very much. Oh, I think she wanted money for gas. That was
and
yeah.
her car
she was
broke down,
she
right?
was
She
from
said?
a smaller community,
Yeah.
And was needing to drive down to Scottsdale. I had reservations at a nice place here, and so she was on her way. So that was the first time, and she just never showed up for the date, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of was like, that's strange, and I kind of assumed that's what happened. But then she got back in touch a couple hours later, and oh my gosh, my mother.
Oh, yeah, it's always something.
She had a heart attack, and I just had to go to the hospital. So I'm
Yeah.
so sorry, and I want to do this again. And, I'll meet you, and she was, of course, very attractive and very, usually you can tell the scammers, they're not using proper English or whatever.
Yeah,
She was very eloquent, very well spoken.
Was it a new profile? Did you look at that?
It was fairly
'Cause,
new.
yeah,
It was fairly new.
That's where the scammers live, in the new profiles.
yeah, because they always get taken down after a while,
Yep.
So
Get reported.
The next time we had a date was she told me her car broke down and they had towed her car and she didn't have her debit card. And so she needed me to Venmo her so that she could use her Venmo card or something she had. And I said, well, send me the invoice. I'll pay for it directly. And so she created a false invoice for a legitimate company in the town where she was from in rural Arizona. And so I called the shop and I said, hey, I'm calling to pay invoice $80,357. I said, that doesn't exist. Like highest our invoices go is like $20,000. So I knew at that point that it was a scam.
Wait,
Wow,
so
that's-
what was the invoice for?
Car repairs. That's what she was. She
And
said
how
that-
much did she say was the
it
repair?
was like another $300. It wasn't much money, right? It was low enough amount of money that I would just usually
a
throw
lot
it.
love
of
how
a lot of
thorough
work.
you are.
Yeah.
He's such a little PI. Love it.
Oh God, Vivian's over there about to have an
I'm into
orgasm.
it.
Speaking of seated orgasms. Anyways, scams. I just got embezzled out of $12,000.
What happened?
That guy I was fucking, okay, this is what happens. You get good dick, and then you're like, oh, maybe he should be my business partner.
It's a horrible idea.
That was the worst idea.
Wrong answer.
That was no matter how good the sex is, don't do business with the sex. I did business with the sex, and then...
Well, he wasn't even a sugar daddy. You were a sugar mama to him.
Yes. God damn it.
And he had access to your accounts.
God. But it was good sex. So yeah, that's what I'm telling you. The Satan about what I'm saying with Satan is that it was great sex. Like I came so fast, but it cost me $12,000 now and then. So was it worth it? Nah, probably not. But
that's just a couple weeks on OnlyFans for you. Maybe one week.
Even. I mean, not even. That's a week. That's a week of content for her.
Yeah,
but
you'll get over it.
I'll get over. Yeah,
I film a lot in Mexico.
It sucks though, right? Because I've been scammed for a few $100. It's not going to make or break my life, but it just pisses me off that somebody would take advantage of me like that.
The only thing that I feel now is the feeling of being vindictive. I feel vindictive. I feel like I want to be. And that doesn't feel good to me because I like to be a good person, right? But do I want to also see him cry in court? Yes. So, I just don't know. But I think that I'm going to take it to court. It's just a matter of time. I'm just enjoying my birthday, and then I'll get some more enjoyment after.
I should actually write a blog about this, but because I was vindictive once over a $200 deposit one of my renters gave me. Trashes my place. I didn't give him his $200 back. We went to court. And anyway, there was a lot of other things involved, some libel and slander and things like that he did. I ended up getting a judgment. The judgment got thrown out because they lost the court audio recordings. Then it got a new trial. Then it got moved to Superior Court. I had to spend $20,000 to get, and I got a judgment for $20,000. That I'll never see from this guy over a $200 deposit.
Wait a minute.
I kid you not.
He's never going to pay it?
No, he doesn't have the money.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
See, that's probably what's going to happen to me. But does it ruin their record? Like,
well, yeah, it ruins the record and it stays on their credit for like 10 years.
Yeah, then I'm down for the business.
Yep.
I will spend the goddamn money.
But I'm out $20,000.
I'll pop my pussy for a lawyer.
Because I couldn't give it up, right? So, no, I do feel accomplished that I did win that. But
you did. Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, so today I got a very interesting call from my two dear people, Vivian and Ryan.
Oh, God.
And it had to do with porn. But you know what? I'm going to let you tell it, Vivian.
Okay.
Do tell.
Do tell.
Okay, so...
It's a good story.
How do I... so you know how when you start a relationship with an individual and it's an actual relationship is what this has turned out to be, ironically and oddly enough, you don't know them well and how they are sexually. You don't know what their quirks are. What
you have
to
learn their body.
You have to learn about you have to learn the
and
movements.
You know what? I think that's why men always have like a wandering eye because they don't know how that other girl's going to be sexually.
You think so?
And everybody's a little different, and it just
women
kind
are
of
all so different sexually. I know. Personally, I'm a blast.
Yeah. Yes, I know. I saw.
Oh yeah, she walked in on me.
I walked in on her.
Oh God,
that was the thing.
That was hot.
It was. You looked great.
Thank
Everyone
you.
was. I was like, good job across the board.
We're all doing good.
Yeah, I'm proud and happy for everyone involved. But so I just thought that, hey, I'm just having a difficult time, or not difficult time, let's just say. I wanted to please my new partner a little bit better. And I was looking at his phone. Was this yesterday, 2 days ago?
Yeah, yesterday morning.
Wait, you allowed her access to your phone?
Oh, always. He just hands it over.
Wow.
Just hands it over.
That is
a Kimmy no-no.
So, of course,
it is a Kimmy no-no because Kimmy has a lot of things on her phone.
Yeah, well, so does Ryan, because I went right to
apparently Ryan
I went right to his albums and right to some hidden albums instantly. And then I saw homemade videos from him and his wife. Her blowing him, jacking him off, and they were graphic, and they were the whole thing,
And I should say, from my standpoint, I was immediately getting ready to be like, hey, I haven't gotten around to deleting those yet. I don't, and honestly, have not looked at them in months, right?
So I don't care. I mean, that's his past and what he's, it doesn't bother me. But in the same aspect, I was like, oddly not turned on, but I was like, all right, I like doing a lot of curious, but I also like to do a lot of research before I go into anything. So I was like, I'm going to look at this like a research project.
So you liked her techniques?
So yeah, so I watched them. I watched all of them and like how fast she was able to get them off and what she did with her hands and her mouth, different things. And I really learned, I thought, pretty well because I was able to do most of those things this morning.
Wow.
And
Zero complaints.
Yeah, no complaints. Yeah. So I kind of used it like as a research, example. So I watched his wife's sports.
One of my favorite quotes is, if you want to be successful, do what other successful people are doing.
Exactly. See? So
I would not say that lady is successful, but
Not winning at life. But.
maybe she can get him off.
She can get him off. Well, he's been with her for so long, so I figured it's his partner that would know him and his body the best. So then I just took myself out of the equation of thought. And we talked about before, I'm not a very jealous person. So yeah, I watched all of those yesterday.
I wish people came with a manual book. Like, why can't that be a first date question? How can I get you off?
What do you enjoy the most? Is it just a flipping the head or is it a deep throat? We don't know.
What do you like?
Anal play.
Ryan, you had no idea what you signed up for.
No, I didn't. But
same here.
With these two, they just feed off each other. It's wild.
Yeah,
It's
we
wild.
do.
He's the one that's always taking us to the strip club together.
That's true. I'm going to say one thing. I'm highly addicted to strippers. I never thought that would be a sentence or something that I would feel or say, but I love strippers so much so. I met a stripper. And so yesterday on my Instagram, Kiki Day, Kidaee.
I thought we weren't revealing that anymore.
Well, we're just not putting in the description. But if someone's listening, if you're listening this far, you might as well get my Instagram.
Yep.
So,
which oddly enough leads to her OnlyFans.
Oddly enough.
Weird.
I think Kimmy's the only one making money from this show. Because I'm not making any money.
Listen.
She's rolling in 5 figures a month, a minimum. Maybe 6. No, not quite 6.
I wish. That would be a
Not
fucking
yet.
dream.
Not yet.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Thanks, Vivian. Anyways, so on my Instagram, I posted yesterday, I was like taking girlfriend applications and it was just a video of my body, which it was a video that I made stripping. That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole story. But she posted.
But I posted it.
It
was
said
like
taking
girlfriend applications.
Girlfriend applications.
The only girl that swiped up was that stripper girl that I met at a strip club that I wanted to hook up with, and she goes, me. And I'm like, ooh. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, well, this is happening.
I invited her to Mexico,
seems like,
but she's out of town right now.
She is out of town, but she's hot as fuck. Mm-hmm. I want to suck those tits.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine all the strippers are coming in town for this week? Because we'll have over millions of people in town.
I'm sorry, we have to hit the clubs. I need to see all those titties. I'm not missing out. I'm getting titty FOMO.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Of course, this episode will air after the Super Bowl and the Waste Management Phoenix Open, but I'm just telling you, girls, get back from Mexico and get ready for a week that you won't forget.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be unbelievable.
I'm so excited.
I'm a little scared.
Get your vitamin B12 shots and all the other good stuff that you need.
Yeah, I need to find a Mexican to fucking shoot me up.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Vivian, you think you got your techniques down?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, right. What do you think, Ryan?
Like I said, no complaints from my end. She's a joy to be around. So in all
Did you ever think you'd meet anybody like Vivian?
Never. Certainly not on Seeking. I assumed that Seeking would be a place where I could, maybe meet some people, have some casual relationships, and just kind of get out there. And then after my divorce was finalized, I figured I'd get on a lot of the other more traditional dating sites.
Yeah.
But it's been a pleasant surprise to have met somebody that actually is a really good person as well. So I
think people look at sugar babies as kind of being shallow, but it's a lot deeper than that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. These turn into real relationships. They're real feelings, and we've got to treat them like a dating relationship and use some of the common sense dating rules. Basically, you just can't treat them like a piece that you can rent for a while,
or property or something.
Yeah, property is. And I think too many guys go.
If you want to rent me out, okay. If you want to rent me out, I'm not opposed to it. Okay?
For the right price, she's not opposed.
Okay, they're for the right price, though.
Listen, it's all about communication.
And you know what? As of recently, every single time anyone wants to rent me, I've been like, well, first of all, I haven't been rented out in a while. Let's just leave it at that. It's been months and months. But people have been trying to rent me as of recent. And I'm like, okay, well, my assistant's going to send you the details and an NDA, which we will get going probably in Mexico.
You send them an NDA?
Oh, that's about to start happening with everyone going
so now
forward.
I'm going to start traveling with her while people try and rent her.
If anything, I'm gonna need you to also send my husband one of those letters.
Yep.
And be like, so going forward.
Yep. I'm also going to be your security detail.
What does that mean? You're going to come in, like, check them out?
Yes.
See, this is what I need. This is exactly what I need. So
are you going to start pre-screening?
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Definitely.
this chick is nuts.
I mean, I thought you were going to sex traffic us. So yeah, I researched into you. I have your photos from years ago.
But that's the problem. See, your judgment is a little off.
It's not off. Let's just say it's a little,
It's just easily triggered.
She's easily paranoid.
Easily paranoid.
Well, it's those hallucinogenic, I can't even say the word,
Hallucinogenic
drugs that,
drugs. No, that was called sativa, marijuana, and that did make me paranoid. I don't like to call it paranoia. I like to call it like socially aware,
Highly aware.
Yes, like highly aware of your situations
Vetting people.
and people. I want to vet people. I want to research some. I mean, I researched well into you, and I didn't even tell you all about that.
I like the way she vets. It kind of turns me on.
You did
I don't
admit
know
it.
why.
You know what? You did admit it at one time that you did some deep research just on my
because I had all your old photos and stuff from years ago.
And I do that, especially when I first started on Seeking. A lot of people wouldn't use, I say a burner number, a secondary number. They would use their real phone number, and I could Google it or put it in white pages, and I see their Facebook, I'd see their pictures, and then I'd even tell a story about this girl that I just wanted to have lunch with on a Sunday afternoon. I just signed up for Seeking. I was bored. I thought maybe I can meet somebody for lunch. I found this girl who she agreed, and she goes, okay, well, are you going to pay for my babysitter? She said, you can pick me up. I knew this wasn't a scam because she used her real number, and I was able to look it up, and I actually saw her Facebook and all that stuff. So I'm on the way to pick her up, right? I fill up with gas, and for some reason I'm looking at my phone, just looking at more information. She had just got out of prison for meth, for drug use.
Oh, my goodness.
So she's texting me like, hey, are you almost here? I'm like, yeah, I had like a little emergency with my rentals. I can't make. And then she started blowing up my phone. And this is before I used a secondary number. So I ended up having to block her. But she could have easily gotten my name because my phone number was tied to my business and, being in real estate and all this stuff. So that's when I'm like, shit, I can't be using my real number. I need to use like a Google Voice or a secondary number.
I had a Google Voice, and I used it with Ryan first.
But I'm glad that I did this background on her. Another girl I met, I actually kind of confessed it, like, hey, I saw some things, and she thought I was a creepy stalker. And I'm like, if you're not trying to do background on every person that you meet, now it's not possible all the time, but if you're not trying to, you're not being
Careful.
a good dater.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, didn't you read about, I think they found him, he had killed himself, but just recently, a guy was going online to find girls, and he was killing them off of dating sites. Did you read about that?
Not read about
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they just found him, and
because so many girls are not safe about it. They don't tell people. They don't meet in a public place. They'll go right to the person's house. They'll just be dumb about it. I used my Google Voice number because you told me, Marcus, to make sure you get a Google Voice. So I got one.
Well, for the
that's
right
how I
price,
talked to Ryan.
If you're a killer, for the right price,
Right price.
Yeah.
Kimmy may be into it. But
you gotta sign the NDA. Damn it.
But I recommend that you try to do background on every single person that you're going to meet. It's not always possible. Sometimes they have very generic names, like Jessica Smith or something like. It's going to be very hard to find them. But a lot of times, what I do is I find is that they use their same profile picture on Seeking that they do on Facebook.
Yep.
So a lot of times you type
Google
in their
search
name,
too.
even if it's like a generic name, you can see the picture, the profile picture. It's the same one.
Yep. I wonder, does that work face for faces? Can we do Google image search for people's faces?
I used to do that, but I'm having a harder time finding any matches at all. Yeah.
Because I know I can do it with other things. I haven't tried it though with faces.
Yeah. But yeah, you should always try to do research on anybody you're meeting. You're not being a stalker. I'm glad I didn't research Ryan,
because if I did, I would not. I don't know if I would have went out with him, to be honest.
I've actually had one other girl that I went out with because I do have a felony, right? I had to plead guilty to a federal white collar criminal offense. And I had one girl that actually brought it out on the second date. Hey, I Googled your phone number because I gave her my real number. I had a burner number.
Yep.
She said, I'm a girl. Of course, I Googled. And I explained to her what happened, and she could see enough probably to realize I wasn't a murderer or anything.
I'm still not sure.
She's 99%.
Oh, God.
But
we'll find out. Stay tuned.
But yeah, the smart girls have gone ahead and Googled, and the ones that haven't,
Good luck to you.
Good luck.
I hope you're strapped because, out here in the Wild West, you're allowed to be strapped.
Yeah, strapped everywhere.
I'm going to start staying strapped. I know how to load that thing up now.
Now she does.
All right, but one other point. If you do find out a lot about somebody and you Google them and you have all this information, don't reveal it. Because then they do look at you.
Don't share your cards, okay? This is poker.
Yeah, just keep it as information in back of your mind and see what they disclose and see if it matches up to what you found.
Correct.
Because I've made the mistakes like, hey, so what about that DUI you got 3 years ago? And they look at me like, the fuck, how'd you know that? And then they start looking at me a little different. And then,
that's like me and my OnlyFans with my husband. Like, I know he knows, and I know he knows I know.
Yeah.
That he knows.
Okay. Can't follow that.
And we're just not talking about it. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to keep you in a box because if I open it up, open up the box.
Don't open the box.
We're not opening the box.
Yeah. We're not opening Pandora's box.
So do your research, but just keep it to yourself and let things reveal as they go.
I agree. And also always meet in a public setting, obviously. We met at a lizard shop.
Strangest first date.
Well, she was a lot lizard. So
no, she's a goddamn Jesus lizard. Okay,
Jesus lizard. So
if you don't know the definition of that, Kimmy revealed that
a lot
the previous episode.
Yes, we laugh about that often. I wanted to have reason why, which we talked about in my original episode that I was on with here, that I didn't necessarily need to be on. I wanted to have more experiences, and I want to go with gentlemen that maybe a little, I don't know, financially supportive and just smart, maybe, because we talked about I am a sapiosexual, so intelligence, businessmen, it's a good thing, gets me going. So I thought I'll go out with some guys, maybe I'll go with some cool experiences like horseback riding. We went horseback riding, things like that, into our few dates. However, I really wanted to just do cool stuff. So the first guy that actually I planned to go out with was Ryan, because the other guy canceled. And I was like, I really want to see some animals, like hold a lizard or a snake or something, just on a whim. So I messaged him and I said, yeah, he's like, can I take you out to lunch and something and maybe we'll drink? And I said, sure. But I kind of want to go to like a lizard shop and like hold a lizard. And then he goes, okay. He calls the lizard shop and he asks like, can you hold lizards? Like calls a reptile place. And then he sends me all the stuff. And then he goes, what'd you say? You asked him if I could go out after. And I told him like,
oh yeah, no, I said, well, do you want to go, we can go to this reptile shop and you want to go grab a drink afterwards? And she said, well, I guess we'll see how the reptile shop goes. I'm like, crap. I'm like having an interview at a reptile shop for this girl.
That is, you guys are just such awesome people. I say this all the time. And I've met a lot of people in my life, even though I've lived a short life. I've met a lot of people, and you guys are both so awesome. And one of the things I think is a lot of people complain about not being able to find somebody. But I really think that it's because they're not bringing their genuine, truthful selves to the table and not being open. And that's a problem because what you bring is often what's reflected back to you from your partner, whoever is in your life. And I feel like since I've been a little more open, especially since I've met you, I feel like I've been way more open, I guess, with some of the things that have made me uncomfortable in the past. And it's been good. I feel like closer to people. I feel happier in my relationships. It's nice.
You're your true, genuine self.
So, Ryan, that's what she said is basically the reason I like sugar dating is because it is more open. Did you try some other types of dating, the other apps?
I try. There's one other app I've used, but I've never actually gone on a date off of it. So I haven't. I predominantly just stuck with Seeking, and met Vivian pretty quickly. A month and a half after I got on that.
Well, I found that on the other apps that I was playing a game, or I was being looked at as a future partner or relationship, where I just didn't want to rush into it that quick.
That makes sense.
Or have those kind of pressures from the very beginning.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll say for my experience with Vivian, telling kind of the rest of that story, I knew when she first got on Seek, I immediately saw her profile, thought she was gorgeous, thought that she had a very fun personality, very her personality was very present on the profile, which made her very attractive.
We helped her with
Marcus
her
and Kimmy
profile.
helped you with that. They helped you with that.
Yeah, we did.
Thank you.
So
I can't wait till you all get married, and then I'm like, I'll be the spade of honor.
Listen, she'll be the spade of honor because of my celebrity
She
crush.
loves David Spade.
Listen.
That is her celebrity crush. She
he's
will
from
die.
Scottsdale.
Well, he's actually born in Birmingham, Michigan.
Really?
By
And
the
then
way,
he
I'm
also has a
gonna
house out here
DM
and
him.
in LA. I mean, listen.
I'm gonna start DMing
I
him
know
for
his.
you.
I've heard of. I know the name of his personal assistant, but I don't want to be that weird person that's like,
Oh, God.
Heather Star hashtag. Please contact me. Like,
well,
Oh, dear Lord.
How awesome would it be if he came on our show?
stop.
Right?
Stop.
So do your
God,
magic,
poor
Vivian.
Ryan.
I already know
Ryan's
that
over
if
here
that
like
Ryan's
happens,
well aware.
I
I'm
need
like,
to take
listen,
a
I
step
need a
back
hall
and let
pass.
that happen. So,
if that happens, I need a hall pass, you guys. Please.
It's funny. I had this huge crush on Dua Lipa, the singer, right? The pop singer. And this was right when she first was getting on tour and nobody hardly knew who she was. So I got this backstage pass to go meet her. And the girl I was dating at the time from Seeking, we'd been dating quite a while. She knew I was flying to Denver to meet Dua Lipa, and she was jealous that Dua Lipa and I would become a thing.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
I'm
so
like,
funny.
if only.
Yeah, like be jealous. I don't care.
Yeah, right.
But,
she
yes.
really thought I had a chance.
Well, she.
I mean, you're a good-looking guy. I mean, I wouldn't put it past you. So,
Yeah,
you know.
but I think Dua Lipa was 22 at the time, and
Wow.
I was just this average Joe who with a backstage pass to meet her,
Wow.
along
so
with 30
funny.
other people.
But you guys did help me with my profile, so I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, that was
That's
really
you-
what set her apart.
So what were some of the things that we told you to do with your profile that you think worked well?
Well, the biggest thing is right off the bat, you said to make sure you do some photos of your up top of your face, but also full body shots.
Yes.
And then also we talked about how we wanted to show different variations, like dressed up, dressed down,
Yes.
outdoors, indoors, things
Perfect.
like that. Talked about clearly what kind of person I am and what experiences I'm looking at having and the kind of thing I'm looking for. And then I did alter it a few times since being on there. Ryan actually saw my original one, and then I altered it a couple times since then. But what were you going to say, Ryan?
Oh, I was just going to say that her profile was much more well thought out than most of the other profiles that I'd seen on the site. And so I remember messaging her and she didn't respond, I don't think, for a day or two.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
I sent her another message. And
She
said,
got lots and lots of
Yeah,
messages.
Yeah, well, this is what he says to me. This is how he stood out.
all I said was, hey, I'm sure you've got a 1,000 messages. Whenever you unbury yourself from the avalanche of messages, I'd love to hear from you.
And I love that he wrote the word avalanche. I don't know why. I was like, this guy has a unique
that was
vocabulary.
good. That
He
was
said,
good.
when you unbury yourself from the avalanche of new messages you're getting from being new on the site and being so beautiful or whatever he wrote, he's like, please, I'd love to take you out. I mean, he's a gentleman. He is, but that's in part of his name. So like we were making jokes about that before, how all these guys on here say they're a kind gentleman or good soul, and they're not, and this guy was one of them. And I was like, maybe, and I really liked our conversations. And then I did give him my fake number. And then what was it? Maybe after a week or so?
Yeah, something like that.
I was like, all right, I think you were able to level up to my real phone number at this point.
And
then I
that's
ended up
perfectly
switching over.
fine. You just don't want to be giving out your main
Right.
regular number to every
Right.
Joe on the site.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I think you were feeling spicy one night, and that's what it
I
was.
did. I got drunk, and
She
I
was
said,
trying
"I'm
to
feeling
send me
spicy."
some pictures that were not making it through on.
And then I was like, you could have my real number.
So where's this thing going?
They're getting hitched, bro. And you know what?
Listen, that's not legal. He's
I
so
mean,
weird.
it's been a whole 2 months, right?
Yeah, we've been dating. Close to
Now,
months.
I know you guys are probably the most open and honest couple I've ever met, which is fantastic, and that's what I love about it. But still, it's the honeymoon period.
Absolutely.
It is. We talk about this.
Okay.
Yeah. We're self-aware enough to know that this
Yeah.
is also the infatuation honeymoon period. That
Yeah.
Our vacationing mode of going out and partying, going to strip clubs is not going to be able to be conducive to a lifestyle. He's going to have to go through things on his end. I'm going to go through some stuff of mine. We're both probably going to be moving at some point, but if it moves forward, I mean, I might stick around Arizona longer because I
Now,
really enjoy this
have
time.
you seen the dark, sad sides of Vivian?
What dark sad
the dark, sad
sides?
side.
Well, like anniversaries that came up recently.
Yeah, that's
that-
today.
I was gonna say last night was.
It was a little
made-
rough. I cried a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, have you experienced that part yet?
He was with me last night.
Okay, yeah. No,
All right.
and that actually, I will
supportive.
say, even though we've only been dating for 2 months, both of our schedules have allowed us to spend a kind of.
Ridiculous amount of time
Yeah, we
together.
spent a
'Cause
ton
we
of time
both basically, I mean, we work, but we don't work. We can spend
Now,
a lot of time together.
Have we switched the exclusivity switch on both of you? Or we had the talk. See, I want to know,
we
right?
We had the talk, but we haven't also gone out on dates. I'm concerned about that. I am just the rebound or the infatuation is fun thing that right now. So I've talked about it with him that as much as I'd like to be exclusive, I don't feel comfortable being exclusive with a person who's technically still married and hasn't gone through the process yet.
Okay.
That's like overwhelming
But
for
you
me.
guys have had that talk?
Briefly, but no, we haven't made it. And then I also...
Well, you just did.
But listen, but we've talked about this. We've also talked about how I also don't think it's right or fair. Like, I want him to be able to possibly date around a few more times or just get to know a few other girls and just to make sure that if he's going to move forward with this relationship, that he's not jumping from one to another. Because I did do that between my first and second, long-term relationships. The next person I was with, I just stayed with him, and that obviously ended horribly. Today actually would have been, we would have been in Hawaii for our 1-year anniversary, would have been today. So it was a little rough last night. I had emotions, but...
Now, this is with your ex?
With my ex.
Yeah.
Yep. But before that, obviously, I was married for years, and then I went from one to the next. So that's my concern that I am with Ryan. So that's something that I want him to make sure that if he chooses to still be with me, he chooses me versus just like the fun honeymoon.
Yeah. Well, the reason I go there is because that is just it's a common mistake we see with a lot of men on the site and even the women is that they rush into things and you don't really know that person for 6-8 months, sometimes a year. I like that you guys have already really opened up. I had to have a talk with a girl that I'm seeing because we've been 6 months and we hadn't had the talk. And then I find out a few things. And so I had to dial it back a little bit and, kind of reset. And there was some things that I didn't realize that I was putting pressure on her that she was starting to feel. And I'm like, okay. And I pulled back and things have gotten really actually better, I think. Right. Because we took the pressure off of where the relationship was going and just continued. Now we're just enjoying our time together.
Correct.
Yeah. And she's still seeing other guys and I have the option of seeing other girls. And
I mean, he has the options, and I obviously have the option too, but we both don't choose it. We both pretty much choose each other constantly. But
here's the great thing is when you take that pressure off and then you both have those options, you find out that when you go out with these other people, you really start missing the one that you're most comfortable with.
Yep.
That's actually exactly what I told her last night. She said, we had mentioned that she said you should, maybe go out on a date while I'm gone to Mexico. And I said, great, I'll go out on a date and I'll tell you about, some 20-something-year-old girl that is, really not very fun to be around. And I'll give you the full report because that's really how it's been, at least since I've met Vivian, was that I've just really enjoyed her company. And so by choice, I've just chosen to spend my time with her.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Awesome. Well, Ryan, any other crazy stories you want to share, or that's about it?
She's the craziest story, really, out of everything on Seeking. Was never imagined I would meet a girl that I actually was interested in more than as significantly as I am her. So that's really the craziest thing. But
I always liken it to there's diamonds in that bullshit, and you just got to dig through. But there's such good people on the apps and on the online dating, but you kind of got to filter through a lot of bullshit to get there.
Yeah, I was lucky. I only had to filter for a couple of months.
Yeah.
So
you are lucky.
Yeah.
I actually found a couple of long-term relationships or arrangements pretty early. Arrangements that turned into relationships. Like one was like a 1.5 years, and then the other one was like a 2.5 year on and off type thing. So I was finding some success, but man, the stories that I was accumulating while getting to those people. And that's a big reason I started the podcast, because I would tell people about them, their jaw would drop. They're like, there's no way this happened. I'm like, abso-fucking-lutely it happened.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So if you want to refer to our previous episodes, I think we're at like 80 of them now. We're getting close to that. You can listen to some of the earlier episodes to get into some of the stories. But I'm getting all kinds of letters. Like people are upset with me because, or they're having a hard time because they binge listen. And then they get to the final episode and now they got to wait a week for the newest episode.
I know, because it's so good to binge.
Well, let me tell you, I'm about to get wild.
Uh-oh.
And we're going to have to double up our episodes.
We are?
I'm going to get dating.
So you get dating?
I'm going to start dating. You guys have inspired me.
Okay.
I'm going to go start dating and fuck up some people's. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I think it'll be fun this time around.
Yeah.
I feel lighthearted.
Yeah.
Great. Well, again, happy birthday part 2.
Thank you.
Have a great time in Mexico.
Thank you.
Vivian,
a lot of content.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for bringing Ryan.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Ryan, it was
Ryan.
great. And if you want to share your crazy sugar dating stories, questions, or comments, go to our website at secretsofasugardaddy.com. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the same name. All right, girls,
do you think it's legal
guys,
to masturbate on a public beach in Mexico?
Or a podcast?
are we going to find out next episode?
You sure will.
All right. Well, we will find that out. And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.